Hello, critical thinkers. Hope all is well. Hopefully, everyone is having a good night tonight. Tonight, we're going to be going over some updates in the Messiah Nantwi murder case. We'll have updates on two criminal defendants. The first one being Jonah Levi, and the second one being someone new. He's not new to Midstate, obviously, but he's new as he was not mentioned in any previous indictments. That is Joshua Bartlett. That if you're not new to the Critical Conversations HR channel, you know that Joshua Bartlett was mentioned in the case of Christopher Keelles, who was beaten the day before Messiah Nantwi was killed. So I'm going to be going over that today with you. So let me go ahead and shut down this music. Hopefully, again, everyone is having a good night. Just a quick, 30-second commercial. If you can please do me a quick favor, if you can like the live stream, it greatly helps with the algorithm. If you can comment maybe in the chat, let me know where you're watching from, your city, state, whether you're in upstate New York, whether you're in Australia. I have people from all across the globe who watch Critical Conversations, who are invested in what occurs in the New York State Department of Corrections. So I want to thank everyone that's here now. Thank you for caring about the content, and thank you for being committed. I see a lot of the same names, and it's really great to see the names, people really soaking in the content, and I greatly appreciate that. So, and again, if you haven't already, please like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's put a ring on it. Many of you watch the videos and the live streams, but you haven't committed to hitting that subscribe button. So don't be shy about the subscribe button. It's okay. Don't be afraid of commitment. Go ahead, click the subscribe button, click the bell icon, and select all to get all notifications so you know when I am live. So again, thank you. So I want to give a couple of quick shout outs and say hello. We have Angel Walters here. Angel Walters, thank you for being here. We have Chris Milkey. Chris Milkey, good evening. Good evening. We have my sister RT Smith. Hello, how are you? Hopefully you're doing well. We have Nona E828. Hello again. Thank you for being here again. For those of you who don't know, if you're here for the first time tonight, I did a previous live stream just 10 minutes ago that ended with JB Nicholas of the Freelance, who does some amazing reporting. So definitely a big shout out to JB Nicholas with the freelancenews.org. We have John here. Hello, John. We have Nona's watching from New York City. Hello from New York City. We got John in Buffalo. Chris is from Western New York. RT, hello, critical thinkers. Smitty from Queens, New York. Hello, hello, hello. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the action for tonight, and I'm going to share with you basically what occurred today in Oneida County Court, right? So we had two criminal defendants make appearances today. One is less climactic than the other. I'm going to play the video, and then I'm going to go into one specific history of one of the correction officers, because one thing you start to learn is that it's kind of like spider webs. You have spider webs in your home. They tend to connect to other crevices of your home, and before you know it, you have a massive spider web that's all connected, right? So maybe that was a poor analogy, but the analogy I'm trying to make is that these cases of abuse are not random. They're consistent patterns. And these officers that are in these indictments that have been arrested and charged have been brought up in other cases. So I'm going to pull up a video of what occurred today in court. Hopefully everyone can see this. Here we go. Pull up your volume. The volume on these news stories court, they tend to be on the lower side, so you may want to pull up your volume. This is only about a 50-second clip.
Motion dates were set today for one of the corrections officers charged in the death of Mid-State Correctional inmate Messiah Nantwi. Jonah Levi is one of two COs charged with murder, manslaughter, and gang assault. Levy's attorney has until July 3rd to file motions in the case. The DA's office has until July 10th to answer them.
Oh, and by the way, I mentioned spiderwebs. I mentioned connections. Jonah Levi is connected in another case in which there was another mid-state incarcerated individual named Siobhan Taylor, who was brutally beaten by Jonah Levi, brutally beaten. So again, these names are not going to be unfamiliar. They've been brought up in civil cases. So just to highlight
They'll
that.
be argued in Oneida County Court on August 8th. The special prosecutor in the case says the 22-year-old inmate was beaten in his cell, in a stairwell, and in the infirmary by officers at Midstate on March 1st.
So a quick thing, Jonah Levi, to make a long story short, there's going to be some pretrial motions, but he's going to be appearing back in court on August 8th. So nothing substantial at the moment with Jonah Levi, but he will be coming back on August 8th to appear in Oneida County Court.
And another corrections officer involved in the Nantwi case was in court this morning. Joshua Bartlett was previously unindicted as.
And I hate this. Why are we not seeing his face? In this footage released, and I will be crediting the news source. I don't know why we don't have any images of his face. I would have loved to see that.
A co-conspirator in the case, but has since been charged with hindering prosecution and falsifying business records. Bartlett accepted a plea offer and pleaded guilty to both charges. He now faces up to 2 years in Oneida County Jail when he is sentenced on August 8th.
So Joshua Bartlett entered into a plea today, and it was reported that he can face up to 2 years in jail. Okay. This is a new name. This is correction officer number 11. He was unindicted before, and now he has been indicted, and he has entered into a plea agreement. I would have loved to have heard what he is pleading guilty to. I scavenged the internet. I could not find the recording of his plea agreement, and I don't know why. I'm not going to be all conspiracy theory on people, but I would have wanted to see from his own admission what he pled guilty to and the actions that he took in regards to the Messiah Nantwi murder. So I'm going to pull up a portion of an article. I'm going to pull this down and pull up a portion of an article that I'm going to read out to people. Okay. So this is in regards to Joshua Bartlett, who pled guilty today. Utica, New York. Former corrections officer Joshua Bartlett pleaded guilty Friday, today, to charges of hindering prosecution and falsifying business records in connection with the March 1st homicide of Messiah Nantwi. The plea was entered before Oneida County Court Judge Michael Nolan. Bartlett admitted to providing criminal assistance to several fellow correction officers, knowing or believing they had engaged in conduct constituting the Class A felony of second-degree murder. Excuse me, I'm getting over pneumonia, so I may pause it and may silence myself. So continuing on. The officers involved were Caleb Blair, Daniel Berger, Francis Chandler, Thomas Eck, David Ferrone, Michael Iffert, Craig Klemlich, Jonah Levi, that we just went over, Nathan Palmer, Ryan Russell, Tristan Shepard, and Nicholas Vitale. Additionally, Bartlett admitted to conspiring with others to file false use of reports following the incident that resulted in Nantwi's death. Now, this is extremely common and widespread. As much as people do not want to believe this, correctional officers falsifying documents, falsifying use of false reports, I'm sorry, falsifying assaults on correction officers from incarcerated individuals, also throwing individuals in shoe after the individual has been brutalized. This is not anything new. This is not new. This is not something that is new. This is wash, rinse, repeat with correction officers in New York State. So going back to Bartlett, uh, so he pleaded guilty today to those 2 counts, faces up to 2 years in prison. Whether he faces up to 2 years in jail. Whether he will get 2 years, we will find out on August 8th in front of Judge Nolan. But what I did want to do, I did want to have a little conversation about Joshua Bartlett and go into some previous allegations that came up. Okay, previous accusations. So I'm going to pull up a portion of an article here and read this to you because I want to be sure that I got this correct. So give me 1 second while I share my screen. Okay. So I'm going to go into some of the prior accusations that were made against Bartlett. Bartlett was the primary defendant in a lawsuit by a former inmate, according to court records. In April 2021, Everton Gonzalez filed a lawsuit with the United States District Court for the Northern District of New York. He alleged that on April 28th, 2018, Bartlett conducted a pat frisk that ended with Gonzalez on the ground and brutally beat him. Gonzalez's lawyer wrote that he was knocked to the ground and punched multiple times in the head and body by Bartlett before another corrections officer, Adam Snyder, not only watched this happen, but joined in throwing additional punches and kicks. Following this brutal assault, his lawyer wrote, Gonzalez was deliberately denied medical attention when he was escorted to the special housing unit instead of being immediately taken to the infirmary. And again, this is a pattern. This is something that we see. We saw this in the Christopher Keelles brutal beating that occurred the day before Messiah Nantwi, and we see this in countless other cases of individuals being refused medical treatment. Following this, Gonzalez alleged that Bartlett wrote a false misbehavior report accusing Gonzalez of harassing Bartlett, assaulting Bartlett, creating a disturbance, disregarded direct orders, and refusing to comply with a pat frisk. On November 13th, 2023, the court found in favor of the state of New York dismissing Gonzalez's lawsuit. So to be transparent, this specific lawsuit ended up getting dismissed. It ended up getting dismissed. So I also want to jump into another case, another allegation that was brought up here on Critical Conversations HR involving Christopher Keelles. But before I do that, very quickly, for those of you who are just hopping on the stream now, if you guys can please do me a quick favor, if you can please like the video, like the live stream, and if we can bring the likes up to about 28, that'd be greatly appreciated. If you can comment below, put your location if you haven't already, and then if you could do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. And if you already have, please encourage everyone in your Rolodex or on your iPhone to go and subscribe. Send them a link to the channel so that we can grow this channel and so that I can continue reporting. And if you feel so inclined to, you'd love to make a monetary donation, there's a link for Cash App, or you can do a super chat or super thanks. So again, I want to thank everyone for being here. And I want to move on and talk about Joshua Bartlett and the accusations that were made against him in regards to Christopher Keelles. Now, for those of you who don't remember, I had Ruby Rivera on, who's the aunt of Christopher Keelles. She has been one of Christopher's biggest advocate. Christopher Keelles was featured on NBC4 New York in a piece from Sarah Wallace in which she highlighted the abuses and the atrocities occurring in the New York State Department of Corrections. But before Messiah Nantwi was brutally murdered, Christopher Keelles was beaten. And guess what? Guess who's involved in the Christopher Keelles beating? Joshua Bartlett. So what I want to do now is pull up some documentation from Christopher Keelles and go over that with you. So I'm going to share a document with you now. So for those of you who don't know, again, Christopher Keelles, and we have to give a shout out to his advocate, Ruby Rivera, who couldn't be here tonight, who wanted to be here but couldn't be here. So I want to give a shout out to Ruby for being such a big advocate for your nephew. I'm sure he's very blessed to have you. And so for those of you who don't know, he was beaten the day before Messiah Nantwi was murdered. So this here that I'm showing on the screen is Christopher's Tier 3 misbehavior report. And if we take a look at this, there's a name in that report. There's actually a couple names there that should be familiar. You have Francis Chandler, and then you have Joshua Bartlett. So if we take a look at the description of the incident, hopefully people can see this. If not, I will read portions of this. This Tier 3 ticket basically stating that Christopher Keelles assaulted a correctional officer, and this is his Tier 3 ticket. So we're seeing the same patterns in terms of individuals being assaulted, individuals being written up, taken to the segregated housing unit, not receiving medical treatment, and not surprising, Joshua Bartlett was involved in this specific incident with Christopher Keelles, in which he was brutally beaten at Mid-State Correctional Facility. So one thing you'll find with these names is that these names have have anchors. These names have histories and patterns of being involved in other high-profile beatings and also in other civil lawsuits. Again, these correction officers have a history. They have a history of assaulting those that are incarcerated, and there's very little consequences and repercussions in terms of on the job. So one thing I'll do quickly, this was not intended to be a long stream. There really wasn't a lot of new information to speak about. I do want to invite anyone who wants to come on. I'm going to put a link in the chat here. And if anybody wants to come on and give me their take on what's happening with the Messiah Nantwi murder case, any thoughts about Joshua Bartlett pleading guilty to the 2 counts that he pled guilty to, which was Joshua Bartlett pled guilty to hindering prosecution and falsifying business records. All this in an attempt to cover up the brutal murder of Messiah Nantwi. So again, I posted the link in the chat here. If anybody wants to come up, all you have to do is be able to share your camera. Don't have any loud music in the background, and be respectful. I encourage anyone who has a difference of opinion, by all means, feel free to come on. So, okay, so at the moment, we really don't have anyone coming on unless somebody comes on the last moment. I'm going to wrap up this live stream. Again, we went over the 2 criminal defendants. We went over Jonah Levi. Basically, he's going back to court on August 8th. And we went over a new name, a not so new name in the indictment, Joshua Bartlett, who is correction officer number 11, who pled guilty today to 2 counts and who will be sentenced on August 8th. So, okay, so as I say in all of my videos, I want to thank everyone for being here. If you found value in this video, please like the live stream, like the video, comment, share it, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. My goal is to go deeper than what the mainstream media is telling and sharing with you. Take care, God bless, and see you next time.